I'm a little curious about one more poet who is Pandit Raja Jagannatha. Of course, he has lived some 1,000 years after Kalidasa, but in him we see that Amulat Ratnasanoha Malaya Valagitat Achakulat Payodhi. In the last line, of course, he says that Madanya. Whereas in Kalidasa we see Mandak Kaviyasha Prarthir Gamishyam Yapahasyatam. So these two contrasting personalities, and how do you kind of compare their literary beauties and these two personalities? Over to you.
Unfortunately, in our tradition, why for that matter in the world itself, many times right persons will get a right recognition, and sometimes the wrong person will get very much recognition. And Jagannatha is one such person. People who are fans of Jagannatha may pardon me, but I should say he is no match to Kalidasa. Anyone if someone says that in so many respects Jagannatha is better than Kalidasa, we can't agree. It's a blatant error. That's what I honestly feel. At the most, we may say that Jagannatha had a very musical and tender diction, but that diction is not his. Even before him, there were many poets who wrote. For example, long before Jagannatha, Mukha Kavi is there. In Mukha Kavi's Mukha Panchashati, we get diction which is much better than Jagannatha, and the Vakrokti is far better than Jagannatha. And Jayadeva, who existed even before 500 years before Jagannatha, is far more superb poet than Jagannatha in terms of music. There is no parallel to Jayadeva. Like that, there are so many people who have very musical diction. Why? In Bhaubuti, in Sriharsha, in Harshavardhana, in many poets, writing mellifluous verse is not a big thing in Sanskrit. So many poets are writing. But to write Arthavad Bharati, so dense with meaning, pregnant with meaning, it's very difficult. One verse, one example I shall give. Hitakshanam Pakshmasutaditadhara Payodharutsedha Nipata Churnita Valishu Tasya Skalita Prapedeve Chirena Nabhim Pratamoda Bindava. This is the verse that describes Parvati in penance in scorching summer, in deep summer, when she was penance. She was sitting in yogic posture and she was penance. When first rain droplets they fell on her. The description is very picturesque. I am not going to those details. A beautiful article is written by my friend Shashikiran, which is available in the Preksha Internet Journal, where people can look into. In an English article has been written. Marinatha describes how the beauty of Parvati, her physical beauty, has been suggested wonderfully in this verse. And Appai Dikshita, in his Chitra Mimamsa, describes the same verse, analyzes the same verse, and shows how her yogic posture and the philosophy behind that and the Shanta Rasa behind that has been depicted, suggested in this verse. In the same verse, Sringara and Shanta is a very difficult feat, and only Kalidasa could do. There are so many such instances, many such instances. A profound verse, one verse, which depicts the whole life of Kalidasa's, whole philosophy of Kalidasa's life, and even the philosophy of Indian culture itself. Jugopatmanamatrasto bheje dharmamanatura agradhuradade sortana satta sukhamanvabhut. Dilipa, he protected his body, though he was not scared of death. We should protect our body for Sharira Madhyam Khulu Dharma Sadhana. For what? For moksha. So Jugopa Atmana Matrastha, having no fear for death, he protected his body. Bheje Dharmama Natura. He did all good things. He was a very dharmic king. He did yajna, dana, tapas, everything well. But not because of fear of Naraka, fear of hell. Because Semitic religions, they always advocate the fear of death, the fear of hell. But our tradition is not. Our tradition is not working based on the fear of punishment for one sole reason. That's why Kalidasa too says, and even in the Bhagavad Gita it is said, I'm not desirous of anything, yet I'm performing my duty intact. That's what Nanavaptavyam Aptavyam Name Kinchana Vidyate, Nate Kinchana Vidyate, Kalidasa says that. That's how the Nishkarmya Siddhi and Nishkama Karma has to be accomplished. And Kalidasa says that Bheje Dharmama Natura. Atura means agitated, scared. Anaturaha, without any agitation, without any fear, Dharma Bheje. He followed Dharma. He acted as per Dharma. And then Agradhuradade, Sorpan, he was not avaricious, he was not greedy. And yet, he amassed wealth only to distribute for others. Sahasra Guna Mutrishtum Adharte Hiratam Ravi. Sun draws water only to give back in the form of distilled rainwater, crystal pure water. Though he draws saline water from oceans, he wants to give away crystal pure water, distilled water, soft water to one and all. That's so Agradhur Adade Sorthan Asatta Sukhamanvabu. He enjoyed the life, but without any attachment. Asatta Sukhamanvabu. This is what we need, as Krishna did. He was Lord of Ashtamishis and 16,000 princes who were conquered by Jarasandha, who were conquered by Narakasura, and yet he was Brahmachari. In the episode of Parikshit being rejuvenated by Krishna, he says, if I am a Brahmachari, let this dead child once again come back to life. It happened. Means Krishna was Brahmachari in the real sense. In Kannada, there is a proverb, Badasi Brahmachari. Even with indulgence in sensual pleasures, he was a Brahmachari. That's how Asakta Sukhamanvabu. Such a verse, Jagannatha cannot even dream of. That's so Kalidasa, embodiment of humility, and at the same time, embodiment of knowledge. Jagannatha wrote only panegyric verses, wrote only eulogizing things. His Panchalahari, mostly modeled after Shankara's Shivananda Lahari and Saundarya Lahari. His best Lahari is Ganga Lahari. Ganga Lahari, starting from meter and other things, it's completely based on a half of Saundarya Lahari. And his Karuna Lahari is very pathetic in front of Appai Dikshita's Varadarajastava. It is no match. It is very, very dull. And Sudha Lahari is completely modeled after Mayura's Surya Shatakam. Mayura existed before 1000 years of Jagannatha. And in that sense, all his 5 Laharis, they are imitations. They are not imitations, they are very, very poor, like Karuna Lahari. And then his Jagadabharana and Pranabharana, the same work has been attributed, has been given as token of the respect and appreciation to different. It is something like you write a same paper and send it to 3-4 journals and simultaneously get it published in the name of different research papers, changing here and there some cosmetic changes. He dedicated that to Jagat Simha of Jaipur, and then Shah Jahan of Delhi and Agra, and Prananarayana of Kamru. Even it is also said that it has been dedicated to Jahangir also. So one work being dedicated to 4 people. Like that, what his poetry is, it is very superficial. And his Anyoktis, Prastavika Vilasa. In front of Ballata, he is very dull. Ballata is the most original poet in Anyoktis. Why? Take a contemporary of Jagannatha like Nilakanta Dikshita. He is no match to Nilakanta Dikshita. So it is wrong to compare even Kalidasa and Jagannatha, let alone saying Jagannatha is better. But the qualification of Jagannatha is he can write very lucid and neat verses. To acquire proficiency in versification, I say Jagannatha is one among the must reads. I have a big list of must read Sanskrit poets for different reasons. Though he is not best read, he is a first read poet for such and such reasons. And even his Rasagangadhara is not a great work when compared to Dhunyaloka or Vakrokta Jivita. Well, whatever they be, Kalidasa is a seer-like poet and sage-like poet, Rishikalpa Kavi. Well, Jagannatha is a poet whose life is also corrupt. We all know the episodes of Lavangi. Dilli Vallabha Pani Pallava Tale Neetam Naveenam. He boasts that his youth was happily and blissfully engaged in the harems of Mughal kings, he cannot become an ideal for true Indians, true Vedantins.